How you doing? So I was going to do a video on this, but I haven't got time to do a video on this. So breaking news, Tommy Robinson has been told by the judge that he will be freed at some point this week. Apparently he's purged his contempt of court. So at the prison's discretion, he's going to be released at some point this week. This isn't a defeat for Tommy Robinson. This is a victory. 170 million watched the Silence documentary before it was taken down. That's not a defeat, that's a victory. The people who got to see it, got to see it. Obviously, the leftists are going to come out, all this stuff, saying, oh, it's a great victory, you know, we made him back down. At what cost, though? At what cost did you make him back down? 170 million people watched the documentary, and the whole world got to watch how the establishment, the judiciary, treated Tommy Robinson. That's a massive victory. The veil was lifted off the people that like to lurk in the shadows, and they got exposed for what they are. 200 days in solitary confinement for Tommy Robinson. And I dare anybody to stand by their principles and do that amount of time in solitary confinement. Because the people are going to come out and say, oh, he's just a grifter, he's a shill, and all this kind of rubbish. You try it. You try being in a room no bigger than, you know, probably your bathroom for 200 days and see how well you do, see how far you can go. I can guarantee you won't do 200 days in there. So hats off to Tommy. He's a national hero. He's going to be coming home this week to his family. I'm sure he's going to take some time before he comes back out fighting, but he will come out fighting. And, you know, we will see the Unite the Kingdom rallies resume, hopefully this time around the country, not just in London. That's my biggest bugbear with the Unite the Kingdom rallies, is that they were solely held in London. They need to be a roadshow. They need to move around the country and rally the people. That's what needs to happen. But great news, Tommy Robinson is out. It's awesome. And, you know, we'll see what goes on from here. I hope this is the thought that's in the back of my mind. I'm sure it's in the back of the mind of other people, that he could be rearrested when he gets out. They could be waiting for him to rearrest him for the terrorism charge. I wouldn't put it past them. Yes, it is true. He's been freed. Apparently, he went to the courts of justice today, High Court in London, and the judge has freed him. They said, yeah, he can be released, you know, at the prison's discretion this week. So that's great news. I've just seen it on Twitter myself. I'm sure Tommy's overjoyed. I'm sure his family's overjoyed. He did his thing. He did his job. He did his job. 170 million people watched the Silence documentary. That's a victory. That's not a failure. That's a victory. And like I said at the beginning of this live stream, the whole world got to see how the judiciary treated Tommy Robinson, how despicable they'd been to him. And, you know, Tommy thought that 200 days in solitary confinement was worth exposing the establishment like that. And, you know, I've got nothing but admiration for Tommy. I know people, maybe even some of my subscribers, might not like the guy. Like I said, many people have said, it's like Marmite, either love him or you hate him. But nobody can deny he's got courage, he's brave. And like I said, I dare anybody to lock themselves in a room no bigger than your bathroom and try and spend 200 days in there without going stir crazy. So, yeah. So apparently he's out. He's out already, is he? I thought the judge said he's out. Apparently, I don't think he's out. Not yet. From what I've heard, the judge has said at the prisoner's discretion. So he'll have to go through processing and that kind of thing. But yeah, this is great news. Tommy Robinson is to be freed some point this week, which is great. It's fantastic. And it couldn't come at a better time, really, when the country's mood is, you know, not good, especially with the whole Starmer betrayal of this country that he did yesterday. I think we need some good news at the minute. But yeah, Bluebell, yeah, Tommy Robinson, he's being released at some point this week. Somebody said he's already out. I don't think he's out already. He'd have to go back to prison and go through processing and then come out. But yeah, he's going to be released sometime this week. Hopefully, it could be as soon as tomorrow. This is good news. 200 supporters can help taking Farage down. Exactly. I've got a funny feeling, and I hope so, that he's going to come out and he's just going to have all guns blazing for the Reform Party, because he did support them. He did support them before the general election, but after everything that they've done, I think that support is going to be withdrawn. I don't think he is. Sorry, guys, that was me catching up with the news. Yeah, he's not out yet. The judge says that the injunction will remain in place, but that injunction is irrelevant now. It's irrelevant. Tommy Robinson did the job. He put the silence documentary out there. 170 million people watched that, and it's still out there. He took it down. He took down his copy that he posted to his Twitter account, but it's still circulating. It's still getting views, even though he took down his copy of it. So once it's out on the internet, it's going to stay out on the internet. There are copies of copies of copies of copies out there. They'll never be able to control it now. Not at all. So it's still a victory. It's still out there, even though Tommy Robinson, it's not on his page. It is still out there being circulated. So again, it's not a defeat, it's a victory. I hope he's okay though. It's time in solitary. It must have had its mark. Yeah, I think it's going to take him a long time to get back to his normal self. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But yeah, great news, everybody. Fantastic. So yeah, I'm not going to put out a long video about this. I just wanted to let everybody know what happened, because I'd seen it on Twitter and X, and I just wanted everybody to know that, yeah, Tommy Robinson is to be released this week at some point. So let's see what happens. Yeah, exactly. The boy made his point. Well done to him. Exactly. He wanted to get the silence documentary out there for everybody to see. He knew and accepted that this is what was going to happen to him. And, it did its job. 170 million views. It's still out there. It's still circulated. The injunction, he made the injunction irrelevant, basically, didn't he? It's irrelevant, the injunction. He doesn't have to share it anymore. It's done the job. And at the same time, it also exposed the establishment for its authoritarianism and its two-tiered system. So it's a win-win for Tommy Robinson when he gets out. I just hope and pray that when he gets out, that he's not rearrested for the terrorism. This is how spiteful the British state is. This is how spiteful they are. They could be waiting for him, ready to come out of prison, rearrest him, and then stick him back in prison again on remand until he's put on trial for the bullshit trumped up charges of terrorism, which is absolute rubbish. Three times the number of adults in the UK saw silenced, so own goal big time. Even Gary Lineker would have to admit that one. Exactly. They basically, it was the Streisand effect, wasn't it? The more you try to cover something up, the more people want to watch it. And everybody watched it. It's like, well, what's this thing that I'm not being allowed to watch? Censors never seem to get that, do they? The more you censor, the more people will find ways of watching the stuff that you're trying to censor. It's our nature, it's human nature. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to keep this fairly short, under 10 minutes. So thanks for watching. I just wanted everybody to know that Tommy Robinson will be released at some point this week. It could be about as early as tomorrow. So yeah, good news about that. This is Vindicator. Sign off. Thanks for watching, everybody.